Hello and welcome back to the colony with Man of the Antz, back once again in Derail Valley. No major updates that I'm aware of since the last video. I think there have been a couple of just basic patches, just doing some bug fixing and things like that. They also, I do believe, did another update to the derailing mechanism to try and temper that a little bit. So if you remember last time, when we were doing a job, we did brake quite heavily with the old brakeroo lever there. And yeah, managed to derail our carriages that we were dragging behind us. Now, I assume that's because I was quite savage with the brakes as far as I recall. But I have had other people, such as Andy in particular, tell me that he has had issues anyway with the game being... Even when you try and brake at a relatively gentle pace with carriages derailing a little bit haphazardly. So they are still working on that, which is good to know. So I am actually playing in seated mode today. Should I bring up this up? Does it tell you that there? Or in options, I guess. Yes, seated mode. Because I have managed to hurt my foot, so this is the perfect game to do, actually. It's nicely that it's come up at this point, because I don't want to be stood up recording for like an hour or whatever it's going to take. So, playing in seated mode. The other thing I've done, as you can see, based on the suggestion of someone who, I'm very sorry, I don't have the comment section up, but someone suggested that, particularly when you are in the carriage, where's the carriage gone? Or not the carriage, the engine, the locomotive, whatever you want to call it. When you are in there, if you remember in the last video, I was doing a lot of this and trying to center myself in the right place in here. The very helpful person said if you just use the smooth movement, it's much easier to move around in the in the carriage and do it that way rather than trying to use the teleport. And of course, if you do use smooth movement, you can still use the teleport. So it's a win-win situation. So I have gone back to smooth motion. The reason I didn't have it on is because the game doesn't save smooth motion at the moment. So if when I come out and come back in, it'll almost certainly forget my smooth motion setting. So something just to bear in mind and remember each time you start the game. So I said today we would do a haul job, and we'll try to complete a haul job. There are only 2 haul jobs here. They are both about 53 minutes. They are both going to the steel mill, which is where we started from last time. So that works out okay. So, oh yes, that's how you do it. Oh, you can flick through different ones. Oh, that's clever. So I think what we'll do, the one on the right, because you get an extra $800 for just basically carrying some more stuff. So we'll do this one. This is the one we're going to do. So I would love to get... Oh, it has actually got rid of the other jobs that I had. Perfect. So let's put that one in there. Ideal. So we've got our job. So let's run back to our carriage a second. I say run, I mean teleport like a madman. This might be a little bit jarring to watch in the videos. I know quite often teleportation and snap rotation does look a little bit weird in videos, so I apologise if it does, but it's just obviously wouldn't want to use smooth motion to come all that way, because you do walk relatively slow compared to what the speed you can hurtle at when you are using the teleport. So we need to find where the hell we are. Oh my god, my desk's there. One thing I did need to do when I went into seating mode, I turned on seating mode and it seemed to put me as like a fake standing height, if you like, when I was outside. I teleported and then it put me at seated height. So I did have to recenter the view in the options menu. There's a recenter. Oh, it's in there. There is a recenter option just there, which I do like to see in a game, by the way. I love it when a game has a built-in recenter option. Really, really handy. So I had to hold my headset at around sort of low chest height, recenter it and put it on, because otherwise I was down here, so the view is a little bit more, a little bit covered. Got a good view of the controls, not a good view of where I was going, so I did change that. Something to bear in mind, again, if you are using the seated mode, that might not be all that smooth. So, we are looking for the iron ore. Iron ore east, perfect. And we are looking for 003. Now we are, I'm guessing, in PA1. So we only need to go there. So we need to come down here and then back up to 003. So let's get started. Let's put it in a forward gear. Let's turn on our lights as we like to do. Let's take the brake off. Let's gently accelerate. Perfect. So it's the one we should, if we go in a straight line, which I think we will. We definitely are going to down here because there's not many other options. So at the end of the last video I did ask whether you wanted to see whole job runs or if you wanted to see partial jobs with like the journey cut out. Now I was definitely, I don't know if I come across on the, I was leaning much more towards... Yeah, okay, so those controls are set up right, so we're going to take the right one here, head down the middle, then the next one's set to go down the left, right down the middle, so it's fine. So I was definitely leaning more towards showing you guys the whole job. Much like Euro Truck Simulator and American Truck Simulator and those sort of games, I think it's kind of pointless just showing you the beginning and the end and cutting out the middle, because the games aren't the most... interesting is the wrong word, not the most interactive games, but that's what the game's about. The game's about enjoying the experience you have and enjoying the vehicles you're using, whatever game it is, and enjoying the scenery as you're going around. That's what the game is. So I was definitely leaning towards that. Indy did comment on the video and said that he would also lean towards seeing the whole journey, so he didn't need to be quite as aggressive about it. I mean, the threats were just way too much, but you know, it worked, I guess, so congratulations, Indy. So yeah, obviously Indy didn't threaten me. That's a lie, I'm just messing around. So yeah, we are going to do the whole journey, which it says is going to take 53 minutes, but we'll see how long it actually takes. I think based on what we saw last time, it didn't look like it's going to take quite as long as it said, although the shunt job we did in the first video did take a relatively long time, didn't it? So let's gently apply the brakes. Perfect, and then let's get out of here. So we want to go to 03, so this is going to take us the wrong way. We want to change that, don't we? We want that. How do I... oh no! Oh no, I've recentered the view and now I'm short again. Oh, bugger. How do you do the... But how did I recenter the view? I've got no idea how I just did that with button presses. How do you pick the... oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, I've done it again. Why is that so awkward? Oh my word. Pick it up, and then the button to use. Wrong one. Go back. Right, so now it's going to take us along here. This one's going to take us up here, and I think, yeah, 003. This is the one we want. Should be 4 carriages. There are 4 carriages indeed. Okay, so first things first, I'm just going to recenter my view. As I said, I'm going to just take the headset off, hold it at about low chest height, and then hit the recenter button. So one moment. Okay, so it should now be a slightly more appropriate height. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so we need to put ourselves in reverse. We need to take the brake off. We need to spin in our chair because we can't actually physically turn around because we're sat down. And we need to gently reverse our way up the track. So we should go to the right here. This seems a bit fast. Chill out. Yeah, 25 kilometers an hour is probably a bit much. And then left here up towards 003. Perfect. So let's just take that off. Still going at 25 kilometers an hour. And we will wait for this to... I wondered if I timed it perfectly and it's going to slow down the exact amount we needed to hit the... Well, we hit it. We got there in the end. So we're in range. We will connect that. That is perfect. We will put the brake on full. We will do that. We will do this. I suppose before we do anything, we should get on top of the engine. That's not what I was expecting at all. Let's get back in there. No, we want the map, don't we? So, we are in Iron Ore East, so we want to come out of here. We want to go left when we come out, which it looks like we should do anyway. And where are we going? To the Steelman. It's a good old journey, so we're going to come down here, ideally take the right route. Oh, that is a bit awkward, isn't it? So we come down here, we take the right route, we circle around, come to this little roundabout here, and then there we take the left route, come down to the Steelman. The alternative is we could come past goods factory in town, of which there are 2. It's weird. We could take the left route here, come... oh no, because then we'd have to go backwards there, wouldn't we? Because we can't turn around there. We'd have to go all the way. Yeah, so we'll definitely go via the sort of oil well north route. What the hell was that about? So brake off, accelerator on, not too fast, not too much heavy braking. We are carrying a rather large load. So we do want to be a little careful, and particularly when we come to corners and that sort of thing. Make sure we are actually pulling it. We are, of course. That's perfect. What happens if you teleport out of the carriage when you're moving? Oh, it just carries on going. Okay, that's good to know. Don't want to jump out of there when you're going at a good old speed, then you'll lose the train immediately. So we can afford to go a bit faster. So we should be on a straight shot out of here. There shouldn't be anything which is going to get in our way to leave the station. And then we'll go over what I believe will be our second bridge, swiftly followed by our third bridge. Wouldn't that be nice for everyone? Lovely. So travelling at a relatively sensible, 27, 26 kilometers an hour. We will speed up a little bit. I just want to get around some fairly hefty looking corner coming up, so I want to try and avoid anything silly happening there. Looking forward to seeing a bit of the countryside. We haven't really seen too much. I don't know whether there's going to be much. I don't think there'll be anything in terms of like biomes or anything like that, I suspect. Oh, hold up. So we're going... Oh no, we are going left here, aren't we? I was confused because I thought... Because I just saw that track, so I assumed we'd go that way. But no, we want to go around to the right, don't we? Of course we do. We did set out to the left. That way, you know. Honestly. Who gets their right and left confused and they're a mid-30-year-old man? Terrible. Well, me, I do. That's who does. So yeah, we've got this fairly nasty corner coming up, so I don't want to go too fast. We are going perhaps a little slow. I think 30 would be quite reasonable. I think we should be able to take any corner at 30. What I do kind of miss, and it may be because they're tweaking the derail mechanics anyway, is... Okay, perfectly normal sound. What's just happened there? There is no way that just derailed, is there? I mean, I'm not this short. That's crazy. It did. Didn't? Yeah, it did. It absolutely did derail. You son of a gun. Wow. Okay, I was not expecting... My God. I was not... Oh my God. I was not expecting that to happen. I didn't think we would derail going at less than 30 kilometers an hour along a piece of train track, but we have. We'll just make sure we can't just pull it back on by giving it some welly. I'm starting to see some slip now. Let's turn the sand on, see if that makes any difference. Nope. It has just derailed us. Okay. That's frustrating, isn't it? Respawn at nearest station. You son of a gun. Do I still have that job? No, so respawning deletes the job. Okay, well let's try that again then, shall we? Maybe we will focus on the smaller journey. Maybe if we have less to haul... In fact, it's the only one that's available, so that'll do. Maybe if we have less to haul, it'll be a bit more forgiving in terms of derailment. Let's find out, shall we? So let's zip back here. See, obviously the derail mechanics do still need to be worked on. Like I said, they are working on them quite regularly anyway, but yeah, that's not ideal. That's not exactly what I would like to see. That's not what I want. Like to see happen. So let's get rid of that. Let's start the old... Engine back up. Put our lights on. Oh, come on. Perfect. Take the brake off. Take the brake off. Thank you. Forward gear. Forward ever so slightly. So we're going to 01 this time, which is this one on the right as we go past. So that's easy enough. We'll try that. And we'll see how this job goes. Hopefully, we'll at least get out of sight of the station this time. It's going to the steel mine still, or the steel mill, sorry. We are at the mine, we are going to the steel mill. Yeah, there was a map in the station we looked at in the last video, wasn't there, which did show the good routes, the goods routes, not the good route as in the best route, as in the goods routes, the routes that the goods take to go around the map. And obviously the stuff from the iron ore mine always goes to the steel mill. Doesn't really need to go anywhere else. Okay, so this is what we're going to collect, these three over here. I hope it hasn't left the carriages that I derailed on the track over there. Should be able to see them if they are, but I don't think I can, so I think we're okay. Yeah, I think we're okay. I can't see them there. Hopefully we don't run into them. Otherwise we are up a particular creek, lacking any form of vehicle momentum. Okay, we can start this slowing down now. There we go. Let's pop out of here. A little bit far. There's the little engine that could, if only it gets carriages to stay on the rail. So that's all we need to go. We just need to go up to the left to that one there. I really could do with some money, so I'm hoping this works successfully this time. Because so far we made the $1,000 from our intro job, and that was about it. So a nice, what is it, $12,000? A $12,000 cash injection would be, oh, that'd be delightful, mate. I'd love that. I would really like to get some money to start unlocking other engines. I think that would be an absolute delight. Alright then. Can we get it perfect? Nope. No, we can't. Good enough though, good enough. So let's couple that up. Let's take that off. Let's put it in forward. And let's be on our way. Perfect. Perfect. So we don't really need to worry about any of this too much at the moment. I'm sure it will at some point matter a bit more when you're doing very long hauls and that sort of thing. But for now we don't need to worry too much. So now I'm super concerned about going very fast at all. So obviously we did have a bit of an issue there with the derailment happening at what I would call a not entirely fast pace. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. If we do continue to have issues, I guess we'll try a different station, maybe look for a short haul job and give that a go. I really could do with like a footstool to put my foot on. Not related to the game, of course. Nothing to do with the game there. That's just me moaning about my old age injuries. So we're going at just over 20. What's that? 22, I'd say. 22 and a half maybe if we're really pushing it. So it does look like the carriages that we derailed have definitely disappeared. I was wondering when they didn't respawn back there and the job disappeared what would happen. So it looks like if you I can't do the double air quotes, I haven't got any fingers. If you screw a job up, pretend that's double air quotes, which obviously I don't think I did. I thought it was being very sensible, but then the job does seem to just disappear, at least in the short term from your session. So maybe it reappears later, I don't know, but certainly in the short term it does disappear, which is fine as long as there are other jobs to do. No real issue with that. So again, when we get around this nasty, nasty corner, we'll give it a little bit more welly. I do miss in the demo, it did have quite specific speed restrictions, like quite so when you get to a corner, it tells you the speed you can do that. When you get to a straight, it tells you the speed to do that. I do miss that a little bit, so it gives you a bit of an idea of how fast you can travel. So we are speeding up a little, so I'm just going to pull the engine off a little bit. That's just a tree clipping through the track, that's fine. What's going on with that tree? Is that upside down? So we are going to need to look at the map, aren't we? Let's get the map out, get that closed. So we've come down here. So there's nothing to worry about at this junction. It's straight over there. And then it's right at the junction after this. So we have crept up to mid-20s again. We are going around a bit of a corner, so I'm going to ease it off a bit. Couple of nasty corners, and another one up there where that junction is. Should be relatively straight after that though. We don't need to go below 20, I don't think. I think 20 should be fine. We've still got the brakes on a little. We have a little tad of brakes. There's a rock there, dangerously close to the track. If anything's going to derail you, it's going to be a rock sitting on the line. So I did mention this last time, I think, but the Oculus SDK being used definitely does massively help performance. And it is still using the AWS, the asynchronous... Nope, it's gone. What the hell does AWS stand for? The thing which means you can run it at 45 frames per second and it still run relatively smoothly in your headset, because it basically just generates the every other frame on the fly. So we are really speeding up there. Let's drop that speed right down. I don't like that at all. And we are still speeding. I might even need to start braking in a second, because I think 45 is probably... a bit excessive. Yeah, not sure how you would manage to... I don't think the world is procedurally generated. So quite why you'd have rocks clipping through the tracks, I don't know. There's a couple of things for the devs to work on, but that's fine. As long as the rocks don't throw us off the track and derail us, I'm not too bothered. So obviously we're going a little bit downhill here, because our speed is fairly consistently increasing. So we need to leave our brakes on a little bit to try and maintain speed, because we've not got any accelerator on at all. So that little touch of brake does seem to be holding us at just below 40, which I think is fine. So we will shortly be coming up to this other junction here, where we need to go right to do this loop to come down to the steel mill. So let's keep an eye out for that. We don't want to miss it. Is this it coming up now? Can't see a signal. Oh, I can, okay. It looks like it's pointing right anyway. It's a little hard to tell. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay. Now it is. So now it'll take us right. I'd rather not have to rely on changing signals on the fly, but I didn't want to put on too much brake, because I didn't want to have any issues with obviously the carriages behind me getting thrown off. So we should start heading now to the north of Oil Well North, which looks like that's exactly what's happening. That's perfect. And now we follow it around until we come to the next junction, which will be this one here. And we'll just see how that's going to play out there, because that looks like it's a little bit different. So we don't need the map for the moment. Let's leave that down there. And let's just enjoy this beautiful scenery. All the hills in the background look fantastic. Obviously there's a fair bit of texture popping and that sort of thing, but obviously the game does come with the caveat, like we say every video, it is in very early access. It only launched in early access less than a month ago. January the 27th, I believe it was. So yeah, so it is super, super early access yet, so we can be quite forgiving of a lot of stuff at the moment. And there do seem to be relatively regular patches coming out, so they seem to have it in hand for now at least. So I think we've still got a little... We've still got a little tad of brake on, not much at all, but that does seem to be holding us steady. So if you start clipping through stuff, it... oh, it's not doing it now. It seems to recenter you. Oh, no, it doesn't want to do it anymore. Alright, fine, whatever. I'll move myself then, game. I think that's the first long distance view I've really had. I mean, obviously you can see the hills over there, but I mean, the first, like, you know, so you can see that hill there, which is just behind another hill, so we can actually see a bit of land, a bit of rolling hill landscape over there. Look, that's quite nice. Now, you're going to have to go ahead and assume that's something that was cut out by man, rather than this very weird natural valley forming on its own. Getting a little bit fast, possibly. Let's try and hold that at 40. That's quite beautiful. All those trees down there, that's quite lovely. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm kind of on edge a bit at the moment. It does feel like the game is basically, let's wait to see if we derail. Well, how far can we go before we derail? And these rocks clipping through the tracks are freaking me right out each time they happen. I have to assume it, because if it was one, maybe you could understand, but there have been so many, you have to assume that the rocks are basically part of the texture. So they put the texture down, and then the game engine says if that specific texture is there, add rocks to the texture. So I'm guessing that's what happened, that the texture extends below the track. That looks like part of the hill's missing down there, doesn't it? Looks like that hill should extend up to that tunnel entrance there. Oh, I was just about to say, we haven't seen a tunnel yet. That's exciting. Let's turn the headlights off for a moment and just see how dark it gets in there. Not all that dark is the answer to that. Headlights basically do nothing. That's what we've learned there. That's what we've learned there. We can take our brake off a little bit because we are slowing down below 30 now, so we could probably get a little bit more speed going. Is this how trains are they normally so frictionless that you just turn the engine off, you take off all the accelerator, and you control the speed using the brake when it gets too fast? Is that really how trains work? I can't believe that's actually the case. Is there a lovely little lake down there? And all that lovely track down there snaking across the hillsides. That's wonderful. Another rock clipping through the track, and another one that's bloody close. I see you. Another tunnel again. What I'd class as potentially a little too fast. Let's add a tad more brake. So I would really like the tunnels to actually be dark, so your headlights have some sort of bearing. Hoping that's something that they're going to work on, and I'm sure it is, you know. Weird little texture popping through the track there as well. Oh, come on. Well, isn't that frustrating? At least it's actually telling us we were derailed. Oh, we derailed so badly. It's telling us we derailed because the actual engine derailed rather than just the carriages. That's why it's telling us. So we derailed so badly that, oh my word. That's weird. That's very weird. So only the back axle stayed on. Let's just check the very back one. So the back axle stayed on. Front axle is off. This one is completely gone. We are actually missing. We are missing one of our carriages. There should be a third carriage. So that, I guess, went down there, did it? Or did it just completely disappear and no longer exists? Huh. So we just lost the carriage entirely. Lost the carriage entirely, derailed the other two, and derailed our poor little engine that could. That's very frustrating. I was being super careful there to try and make sure nothing went wrong. And the respawn option is at nearest station, so that's all we can do. So I guess this is Oil Town North? Oh no, we're at Food Factory in Town. Not Goods Factory in Town, Food Factory in Town. So at least we got to see another station, that's something. So I guess I'm probably going to leave. I mean, it's a weird little town, isn't it? So is this supposed to be like a sort of a very specific situation where all the staff that work at the food factory live right next to the food factory? Like, you're not allowed to commute here. There are no passenger trains. It's all about you will live where you work. That's the kind of feeling I'm getting from this. That's what I want to come up here for, is just to see how the scale is in terms of the buildings. Yeah, it's pretty good actually, isn't it? I thought maybe that the windows looked a little small and the floors looked a little small, but no, I take that back. I didn't actually say it, so nothing to take back, but scale's pretty good there, actually. I like the TV antennas on the roof. That's a nice little detail. It's just a shame that the derailment is so oddly annoying and difficult to... I got confused why there's another engine. Difficult to judge when it's going to happen or control in any form whatsoever. Is a little bit of a pain. So I can't imagine, like I say, that that's actually a realistic derailment there. Seems like I was going relatively slow. I wasn't accelerating. I was barely braking. So it seems a little much that we lost that particular load. Where is the station? So I'm going to leave that there pretty much. I think we've had a try. We've had a try and we failed miserably. So what I would like to do is find the station house. Oh, there it is. And to see what sort of jobs it is we're going to take on next time. Because this is where it'll load us up next time. Well, there, this does have one of the cash machines here. License longer trains. I'm not sure I want that. How to operate a diesel-electric shunter. Well, we've already got that. How to operate a steam locomotive we need, but we also need a steam locomotive key, which is $20,000. $20,000. And then $65,000 for the secret vehicle. No. Yes. 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 I got confused and thought for a second that says $650,000, which seemed insane. So I don't know why you would want longer trains if that's going to make it even harder to get anywhere without stuff derailing. Have a quick look around, see if there's anything around here. Not that I'm expecting too much, of course, but I'll have a little explore while we're here. It's a fire extinguisher, safety first, that's good to see. CRT monitors, are we back in olden times? I got myself stuck in a wall. Okay, there we go. That shouldn't happen either. So yeah, clearly the game is pretty buggy still. I will have at least one more video where we attempt to do a delivery. I don't want to take it much easier than we already have. So basically I'm hoping that there is an update to the game whilst we are waiting for the next video to be recorded. Because I would love to do more. I'd love to actually complete. I don't want to drop the series as is. I'd like to actually see it working properly before I leave it for a little while. But next video, if we still have the same problem where we get a derailment for essentially what seems like basically no reason, essentially and basically in the same sentence there, it's kind of redundant, wasn't it? Then maybe we'll have to consider leaving it for a few months and coming back to it then to see what state it's in then. So let's have a quick look at these jobs over here. Lots of haul jobs. Lots of haul jobs. So it's a nice short one there, just going to Oil Well North. Where's our... there's a map just there. Ha 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 ha. So we're in a food factory in town, right at the top. So there's one for Oil Well North. Now, let's try to figure out how far we got. We probably got just above the word well on that track there, didn't we? maybe just above, looking at the way the track goes, maybe just above the final L, the last L in well. I think we're probably around there. I don't know which, oh, it's the left eye. Okay, so around there. So we went that far. This short $3,000 job goes that far. So it's actually longer than we've managed to travel so far. Imagine if you had to go from like Iron Ore Mine West down to Harbour Town. What are the chances of you making that journey without derailing? That seems insane. So we are going to have a number of options next time. We do have a job from Food Factory to Goods Factory, which isn't much further. It's only an additional 7 minutes. You get an extra almost 3 grand for it, 2.5 grand's worth. That's not bad. We want to avoid the steel mill if we can, and also the Iron Ore Mine East. That's not a problem because nothing's going to go there from here anyway. Although maybe food should get delivered everywhere. Maybe this is something which should have links to all of the stations. But there we go. So yeah, next time we'll take a pick between these two. I mean, if I can get to Oil Well North, I can get to Goods Factory in town. So I think we'll probably go for the Goods Factory in town one if we get a choice. Although that is only 3 carriages rather than the 4, so maybe that one will be a bit easier. So we'll try that one next time, and then if it fails, maybe we'll give that one a go. Cool, well, I can only really apologise for that. I know you guys would love to see a full job, and I would love to see a full job as well. Unfortunately, the derailment gods were just not on our side today, were they? They decided that we were going to... Oh, there's a specific unloader. Okay. So is that where you would drive then and stop? I suppose it would tell you on the job sheet, wouldn't it? So yeah, so I would love to see a full job. I know you guys would love to see a full job as well. We'll give it another go next time. I don't remember the textures being as buggy as this. So I don't know whether it's just maybe an area where they put less work into the graphics a little bit, or less bug fixing, I should say, into the graphics. But it does seem that after we got outside of the iron ore mine, that the graphics glitches have been a little bit more prevalent, whichever way you want to pronounce that. So yeah, hopefully there'll be a patch in between this and the next video, we'll see. And we'll have another go next time at delivering some lovely, lovely goods, possibly to Goods Factory and Town. Cool, well if you enjoyed that little look at how you can derail 2 loads of goods in a single short session, do click the like button, that is always appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and of course, questions and comments if you've got any hints and tips on how to not derail stuff. As I said, Andy has had similar issues with it almost randomly derailing, so it is a little bit buggy, a little bit tweaky is what I was going to say. That's not really a word though, is it? So it's well-known issues, I think, is what I'm going for. So we'll have to see if that gets resolved at some point. Obviously, I'm sure it will. I hope it gets resolved soon, I guess is what I'm going for. So yeah, questions and comments down below. Don't forget we do stream every Wednesday at 6 PM. To be honest, I wouldn't mind at some point doing an additional stream for this, but it's kind of pointless in its current state. So maybe in a few months when the game is working, we can work in an additional stream maybe. Although saying that, streams have been a bit all over the place this year so far, but there will be a stream tomorrow at 6 PM, so come along and say hello there. Playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so a little different from Derail Valley. Very few trains involved. Very few trains back in ancient Greece. That's one thing I've learned from the game. Also, mythical creatures exist, apparently. Something else I've learned from the game. So, you know, if you want to learn some things about ancient Greece for yourself, come along and say hello. It'd be wonderful to see you there. Otherwise, I will see you next time in Derail Valley, where, fingers crossed... I've only got balls. Balls crossed? No, don't say that. That's weird. That's very weird. That's not a phrase anyone should ever say. With any luck, we will manage to complete a job without derailing. And as always, thank you very much for joining me.